Hello everyone, this is In-Game Arts with the Boxing and the offline product game review. This is Elden Ring for the PlayStation 4, but being played and tested on my PlayStation 5. To jump right into it, this physical copy here is just the base vanilla version of the game, so the on-disc version is 1.0. Now sadly there was an update available. This update size was 10.3 gigabytes big and will take you to version 1.12 since the time making this video. The update said just basically bug fixes, issues, added little features, content, as well as the Coliseum DLC. That's a free DLC add-on that provides a more elaborate PvP kind of multiplayer online battling. But overall, like always, I did play my games completely offline with an unregistered account, and I didn't experience any massive game-breaking issues. Now, before we go into details, I want to point out, for anybody who may be new, here on In-Game Arts, we play our games completely offline with an unregistered account. That means no DLC, no updates, no microtransactions, no redeem codes. We just fully test the games, what comes on the disc. So if there's any bug fixes or issues that I experience that the update fixes, it's irrelevant. My experience is completely what's on that disc. Now, like always, like I said, I did experience the game, I did beat the game, I did get the Rayani ending, and I pretty much played the majority of the game. I beat all the optional bosses and everything, and I had a blast doing so. But that doesn't mean my experience was completely smooth. I was still unlocking trophies, so that was extremely nice. So, I mean, that's great for trophy hunters out there. But I did have the game crash twice on me. One time just randomly exploring the open world, and the second time during a boss fight at the final moments of almost defeating him. That one really hurt. There was another issue where when I was opening up treasure chests, they had nothing inside them. At first, I thought that was just named From Software or Dark Souls designed to troll me, but thankfully I ended up getting the strategy guide in the game, and then I saw in the strategy guide they said there should have been items in those chests. Now one of those chests was a key item, or very important item, but regardless, those were items that were missing that I could not get from a chest. As well as the Mimic Ash Summon had some weird bug going on with it, where every time I tried to summon the Mimic, it only had 1/4 of its max health. Not only the Mimic Summon, but even the boss summon that you had to fight a Mimic of yourself only had 1/4 of its max health. This did fix itself near the end of the game, but it was odd and interesting because I got to play majority of this game not abusing this powerful summon ability of the Mimic, which is extremely powerful when I finally got to use it near the end of the game. As well as that, I had one moment where these turtles you gotta hunt down to unlock some gate door. The turtle wouldn't respawn or spawn for me, so I basically gave up and reloaded the area, and then all of a sudden act like I got the turtle and the door was unlocked. So that was the only weird major one that prevented me from progressing. But that was an optional progression, but that was the only one that made it feel like I could not progress. But it fixed itself, so I guess there's that. The other biggest issue was dragon bosses. This involves all dragon bosses. They all bugged out in some weird way. Either they kept doing a stuck animation where they kept flying backwards and then not even attacking, or just doing some weird things like magically just disappearing and just not having an actual enemy on screen, but I could lock onto them. And I did have that happen to regular enemies as well. As well as I even had the last boss, the god dragon boss of the dragons, completely lock up. He could not move or attack or anything like that, and I just defeated him by just hitting him. So there's massive bug issues with the dragon boss enemies in the game. Now, like I said, if all these things are fixed probably through an update, but I don't care. What my playthrough is what it is offline. But as I said, I did beat the game. I completed the game. I can't say I did every single quest in the game because there were some issues going on, and I didn't know when and if I'll be able to progress all the way through the game if certain quests didn't complete. Because some of them did act a little funny here and there. Basically, the on this version is basically a late stage version of a beta. They clearly knew there were some things that needed to be fixed, and clearly those updates probably fixed a great deal of them. So it's very disappointing, but at least the game is completely functional offline and can be beaten. I got the Rani ending, and I've overall had a blast playing this game. Now, as I said before, I did get the strategy guide in the game. Unlike Breath of the Wild, I immediately bought the strategy guide to this game because I've made this a point multiple times. I am not a fan of huge open world games. The strategy guide was a big help for my enjoyment of the game. I'd have to run around like an idiot looking for caves and items and stuff like that. The strategy guide just point me in the right direction. I didn't want them to tell me what I needed to do, but I wanted to be able to know where to go. Lots of fun. Even if you're not interested in getting probably strategy guides, you might want to be interested in getting any strategy guide for any From Software game, because they always get really expensive and really rare down the road. So just keep that in mind. But overall, there were some great aspects of the game and some annoying moments of the game. Like I said, I'm not a fan of huge open world games, so all that running around with the horse was annoying, but thankfully, like the strategy guide, as well as the horse did control, and the double jump with the horse was extremely nice. I really enjoyed at least traversing more into this open world game than other open world games. But there were some things that just really annoyed me, like the idea of knowing about quest log. Like, I know that it's kind of a From Software's design where you don't have like a big quest log to let you know how to progress a quest for an NPC. I never liked this in the original games, and it annoyed me in this one even more that I could not know where to go or what needed or to be done. Some NPCs don't even repeat what they wanted you to do. So there was, without the strategy guide, I would have been just stumped because I did not know what I needed to do to progress somebody's quest or where he was. I believe this needs to be fixed. It's something that you need to give more indicator of where where these things are at, as well as more markers to let people know, like, here's a merchant, here was an NPC, this cave here, you beat the boss, or you found all the treasure in this cave. Some little things like that to let you know that you are officially done. Without that, I don't know, it's really annoying and just uncumbersome. And that's the weird thing. Even though people say it's a masterpiece, game of the year, which is a fun and amazing game, it's just Dark Souls, an open world game. If this game is game of the year, then all of Dark Souls games should be game of the year. I've played them all. Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne. I haven't played Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. That's on the list. But I don't know what they did is here that's any different than all the rest of the games that they've came out with, other than a huge open world. Now, I do admit this one is a lot more approachable and a lot more ease of use for the users more than the previous games, because you can have like the summon ashes, you can do all the sneaking around, you can build up a lot more flask drinks a lot quicker than the previous games. But overall, the fundamental mechanics are all still just the regular Dark Souls game, so it's weird to me. I don't know. I still enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it because it's a huge open world. I enjoyed it because it's just Dark Souls. It's just from the Souls-like kind of genre. Challenging, rewarding, boss fights are very engaging. The risk of reward of losing all your souls is a lot of fun. The variation of combat and trying to find the style that you appreciate and like to use the most. I kind of went with the tanker, kind of like a big armor with a bow and just a tower shield and a spear, which is generally my playthrough design when I play these From Software games, because spear and shield is really powerful. But in the end, I still had a blast. It's probably one of my most favorite huge open world games, right next to like Spider-Man, Days Gone, and so on. Now, I'm not a big fan of open world games, so me being given some praise to it is a big deal in my personal taste. But I think it's well worth it in your collection. Even with the vanilla version of the game, there's a lot of content here, a lot of gameplay, a lot of challenge, a lot of replay value, and just the game still ran really good with the PS4 version on PS5. I did have some bugs and issues, and I can't give promises that you won't have more problems than I did, but at least I did complete the game completely offline with an unregistered account, and I had a blast doing so. And frankly, now I don't know what to do with my life. All I really wanted to do was pick up the game and do it all over again and get a different ending, because there's 6 endings in the game. At least for now. Now, there's definitely going to be more DLC and expansions down the road. I do hope that if they do release another physical copy, like Game of the Year Edition, Complete Edition, they still stick with what From Software has been doing by releasing a Complete Edition with everything on the disc. I'm hoping they'll still stay true to that, because, I mean, it would be great to have updated and all the DLC on one disc. But, like always, I mean, I will try to provide links down in the description if you're interested in a copy. I will also try to provide links to the strategy guide, because I highly recommend the strategy guide to keep an idea of like quest logs and where to go and what you need to do, because without that, I definitely would have not had the same amount of fun. It reminds me of Breath of the Wild. I didn't have a lot of fun with that game until I got the strategy guide to let me know where everything's at. As well as that, like I said, I'll provide links to the vanilla version of the game. I highly recommend it, even if you are an offline gamer. It's a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment in that field. So like always, thank you all so much for watching this video. I'm sorry this took so long. I spent 150 hours trying to beat this game and trying to make sure I did absolutely everything I could that it was available to me. But in the end of the day, it's well worth to be part of your collection as an offline gaming experience. So like always, thank thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you found this helpful and useful in case you are interested in playing this game down the road as an offline experience. Bye-bye!